Interrogative sentences, part 1. Now we want to turn to the question of how you ask questions in Hebrew. And there are 3 ways. The first way is really simple. And then the other 2 ways we'll talk about in more detail. And we have 2 parts to this because there's quite a lot of content here. The first way is simply unmarked. It's a question, but it isn't marked as a question. And so we have something like this, Shalom lana'ar, literally, well, the boy. And this is when David asks about Absalom. And he's basically saying, is the lad, is the young man well? There is no indication here that it's a question other than context. So that's one way that questions can be asked. They don't have to be marked necessarily. Now, the rest of this module, I want to deal with what amount to what they call interrogative pronouns or adverbs. These are words that are used to start sentences or to start questions. And we have these in English as well. So I'm going to look at 6 of them. And really, the rest of this module is really a vocabulary session. This is something you could do just by looking in your vocabulary lists and learning them. But because these are important words and they're small and they're not concrete, there's nothing you can sort of grab onto, it's not a bad idea to go through some examples. So view the rest of this module as a vocabulary session. Okay, the first one is me. And me means who in Hebrew. So we have a sentence like, Mi ata, who are you? So when you see me, you know you're in a question state. You're in a question, you are introducing a question. Ata is you, masculine singular. Who are you? Or you can have Lemi halachta. To whom did you go? Halach is to go or to walk. And this is in the 2ms form. So to whom did you go? Still a question. And this is who in the accusative in English. To whom did you go? So me is one of the interrogative words that can start a sentence, start a question. The second one, and this one has a bit more to it, or a bit more options, variations. This is ma. And ma means what? Now you'll notice here that I've got this dot after it. And the reason is because what ma does is it doubles the first letter of the next word. It's sort of like the article that way. The article, remember, has this and then it doubles the next letter. The difference from the article is that the article is attached directly to the word, so the word would be right here. With ma, there is a space, and you have the word over here, but it still doubles that next word that's coming up, or the letter of the first word. The first letter of the word that's coming up. The next letter is what doubles. But there's a space here. Space between words, unlike the article. So, we have ma zachra, zachru. What did they remember? What, and this is remember, and this is perfect, 3CP. What did they remember? Notice how you have a dagesh there? This is not a begat kafat letter. This dagesh is here because of the ma. And this is a dagesh forte, so it's doubled. Okay. Now, just like the article, if the next letter cannot be doubled, in other words, if it's a guttural or resh, then you can get some changes. You can get some changes happening over here. And the rules are a bit complex. I don't think it's important to memorize the rules. You can see them in Ross on page 145 to 146. The general rules. There's a couple, though, that are worth noting just because they're easy, and we've seen them before anyway. Here we have an example. So ma normally has this patach, right? Ma zachru. Now this one here has a comment, so I'll make this a bit longer. Ma Ela. What are these? Ela is these, the near demonstrative. So what are these? Verb to be implied. This is a comet, because you can't double this and you get compensatory lengthening. That's not terribly odd. We've seen that before. And let's see, we have a couple other ones here, other examples. Sometimes it can go to me asa. What has he done? So this is perfect. 3ms, asa is to do or to make, but here it'd probably do. What has he done? And sometimes you can get this with, oh, I forgot to put this in, makef. Me can sometimes have a makef as well. What happened to him? Or ma can have a makef. Me haya lo. What happened to him? So here again we can't double it, and we get this this e under there. Now this typically happens when you have a comets here. You typically get the segol here when you have a comets here, which is similar to the article. If you go back to chapter 6 and look at that, you'll see that. With the article, it doesn't always happen. Here it happens more frequently. But again, I'm not too picky about the rules. I don't think, at this point anyway, it's worth memorizing them. What's important is that you remember that the basic form is ma plus this dagesh forte, the doubling of the first letter of the next word, and that if you can't double, because it's a guttural resh, you can get various options. You can get this here. Sometimes it'll just stay, no doubling, but the patach will stay. Sometimes it'll lengthen, and sometimes it'll go to a sagol. So ma can look different. Ma, or me. So we've had me is who, ma is what. Next one here, lama. Now lama means why. Let's look at an example here. Lama chara lach. And this here is when the Lord speaks to Cain, and he says, why are you angry? Or literally, why is there anger to you? Chara is to be angry. And what's really happening here is lama is really just le plus ma. Ma, the one we just had. So you put le on there and you get why, lama. Ma by itself is what? Lama, here, lama is why. And there are other combinations with ma. You can see them if you go to Seo, page 110. He lists a few of them. So this is one of them. But really, you probably want to just memorize this lama as a separate vocabulary item. Sometimes it's also lame. So you get some variation in the vowels there. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, afo. Afo means where. So this is the pronoun of place. Some of these are pronouns, some are adverbs. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just they're words that are used to start questions. That's the part that's important. So we have Eifo, Shmuel, v'David. Shmuel here is Samuel. David is David. Where are, verb to be implied, where are Samuel and David? And this is something that Saul asks in 1 Samuel 19:22. Okay. Next one, a or aye, and this means where. So let's look at an example of this. A hevel. This is where is Abel, and this occurs in Genesis 4 verse 9. So we have where is Abel, or we have aye Sarah, and this is where is Sarah in Genesis 18 verse 9, where God asks where is Sarah. So sometimes you'll have a, and sometimes you'll have aye, both meaning where. And then last one is eich or eicha, and this means how. So here we're talking about manner, an adverb of manner, how things are done or how something is done. So we have, for instance, eich nashir, and this comes from Psalm 137 verse 4. Shir means to sing, and this is this is an irregular form of the verb, so we haven't come across irregular forms, but what this is imperfect 1cs, we, and the question here, manner, how shall we sing? And this is from Psalm 137, verse 4, which talks about being by the rivers of Babylon. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? So eich is what they're using there. A related form to eich. Oh, this is 6. I lost that. Oh well, you know we're on 6. 6b, I suppose. I'll try to sneak another one in here. This one's related to eich. Me'ayin means from where. And I think I have an example here. Me'ayin atem. And this is where Jacob, when Jacob goes to Haran, when he escapes and he goes north, just as he gets there, he sees some people and he says, "Where are you from?" Me'ayin atem. Where are you from? So, or you are from where, but in the form of a question. So here are a bunch of vocabulary words that can start sentences. And they ask things like where, and why, and how, and who, and what. And maybe I missed one there. So these are words worth learning. They're abstract. Adverbs tend to be abstract, a little hard to learn because they're sort of small little words that you can't visualize. You can't visualize something concrete, but they're important. And that's one way to start a question in Hebrew.